don't you introduce yourself? Hey, I'm Alec.
My name's Bruce Logan. How are you, man?
Bruce, how you doing? Tell us about yourself, Bruce.
Well, I'm a hyphenate filmmaker. Done a lot of different things.
Don't speak to me, speak to them.
Yeah.
They pay the real bucks to be here. I got a free badge. Okay.
In the direction. No. So I'm a hyphenate filmmaker, and I've had a lot of a long career working on other people's very high-budget movies, and I'm just about to make a very small budget movie of my own this summer, which I'm very excited about. So I guess that's why I'm relevant to this panel. So.
Are you on IMDb, Bruce?
I am.
Do you have like a big long thing? Let's look. Everyone know what IMDb is?
Yeah.
IMDb is Internet Movie Database. Bruce Logan. So you should all have his. You should all have the IMDb app. Why? Because invariably someone's saying, "Who is that guy in that movie?" And if you're quick with your, you got your smartphone. I'm always like the first to answer that question. And I also always. Okay, Bruce Logan, visual effects, Star Wars Episode 4? Was that you?
I blew up the Death Star.
Oh my God, Bruce! We're not Oh, that's right, I read about you. I saw a photo somewhere. So you blew up the Death Star?
I did.
Okay. The heck with the rest of this panel. Let's just talk about All right, we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Next.
My name is Mark Grove. I make independent films as well. I started in the action industry, doing choreography on Highlander and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, things like that.
Sweet.
And then I evolved into making movies in '99. I've done it ever since. Just directed one with Malcolm McDowell and Dean Cain. Called Mind's Eye, and my newest one is Star Raiders with Casper Van Dien from Starship Troopers.
Sweet.
Yeah, I had to do a Flash Gordon throwback.
Yeah, we love Flash Gordon.
On Netflix later this year. And then at the beginning of the year, I traveled to China to fight Sammo Hung. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Yeah, so there's a couple martial arts guys in here, that's it. Wow, 2. Yay. Okay, good.
And next is Samuel Hawkins of Trekyards. Anyone know who Trekyards is?
Yeah.
Trekyards is one of the premier Star Trek web series. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the sort of technical side of it. I do 3D animation, video editing, Photoshop, graphics, sound editing, music scoring. I do my own fan films occasionally and help other people's. It's a lot of stuff and it's a lot of fun. I'm just a filmmaker by passion, like 10 years from being young to being now, and I just can't stop.
He's still young.
Yeah.
And his partner in crime, Stuart Foley.
I'm the host and writer of the show, well, co-host, of course. That's all I do. He does all the work.
Yeah, talented
I
writer.
just write the scripts. Do the research.
Good scripts, you should watch.
So the one thing I'll say, because we still have 4 minutes till we start, so we can bullshit. One thing I'll say is I have a company called PropWorks. We sell movie props and costumes at auction. I had the great honor of doing the Battlestar Galactica auctions. How many people saw Battlestar Galactica, the reimagined one that Ron Moore wrote? Best sci-fi series of all time on TV. If you doubt me, watch it, and then next year come back and say, you're going to say, Alec, you're right, that was the best sci-fi show of all time. So anyway, I'm a big collector of Star Trek movie props and costumes, and when the Battlestar was ending, all my fellow collecting friends were like, who's going to do the Battlestar auctions? And I was like, I'll do it. I called up Richard Hatch, who's my acting coach, who played Tom Zarek in the new one, Apollo in the original. I said, find out who's doing the auctions. And he put me in touch with the line producer. First time I ever heard what a line producer was. He put me in touch with Universal, and I wound up getting the gig, and I spent 3 months on set while they were shooting The Plan, the movie that they filmed after Battlestar Galactica wrapped. And the thing I learned from that was just such an amazing education. I learned what set decoration was. I mean, before that I was like, set decoration, what's that? And I learned what every single department did in detail. And what amazed me, when I came out of that, what I realized was, there are so many people who are responsible for a TV show or a movie who you never even think about. as a prop collector and prop and costume collector, I knew what a prop maker was or a wardrobe designer was. But man, set decorator, art director, production designer, it goes on and on and on. You know, and then you get the crew who are actually shooting. What's a gaffer? Anyone know what a gaffer is? It's the guy who handles the lights. Why they don't call him the lighting guy, I don't know. But he's a gaffer, right? And then there's a director, there's an assistant director. This is a first assistant director, a second assistant. I mean, it's amazing. And what I really came to appreciate was what all the behind the scenes people do. And how important that is to the production. Because, you know, hey, everyone's here to get Katie Sackhoff's autograph. How many people are here to get the first assistant director's autograph, right? But that guy's really, really, really important. And those are all jobs that if you want to be filmmakers, you have to be familiar with. Because we all start out doing smaller films and we work our way up. And initially, you'll probably be your own producer, director, you know, you may star in your own project, who knows? Writer.
Off guy.
Forgot somebody.
Oh wait, who's that? Hey, we got another guy. I guess we didn't have enough seats at the table. I wasn't even supposed to be moderating this. I was supposed to be sitting down. So, hey, who are you?
Hey, either one.
Lean in. Oh, either one.
Yeah.
Here, come up here.
I like that.
Hey, Lee, I'm out.
Hey everyone, Lee Ross, screenwriter and co-producer. I'm here with Manu Intiraymi from Star Trek Voyager. He's going to be running late, he's coming down here. We're showing our movie, it's called Benjamin Troubles, which I wrote and co-produced. That'll be screening in one of the rooms right here tomorrow. My last film at Sundance was the Maria Bello, Jason Patrick thriller called Downloading Nancy. It's on Netflix. If you want to watch something disturbing, that's what I do. I write disturbing material. The new movie that Manu will introduce and mention, he's coming from a photo shoot. You might know him from Star Trek Voyager. It's called Benjamin Troubles. Benjamin Troubles is in the app. It's you can look it up or go to bentroubles.com. It's about a pair of magic jeans. We have a lot of effects, and I got to meet Bruce earlier. He's truly an icon in the industry, working with Doug Trumbull and some amazing people. So it's a pleasure to be here, and bentroubles.com. You can watch the trailer. It's about a pair of money-producing jeans.
Lee, why don't you grab one of the low seats and pull up a chair? Here, we'll move this over. It's not on the end there. Right here. Okay, so the first question I'm going to ask each of the panel participants, and we're going to start with Lee since he's right here next to me, is how did you get started? How did you get started, and what was your first? Tell us about your very first film.
Right on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm going to just speak. So basically, I started as an actor. If you ever saw the movie Fame, I went to that high school of the performing arts in New York back in the day. And basically, after a while, I just got really frustrated as an actor and got into screenwriting. Screenwriting led to Downloading Nancy, which was my first feature film that got made. But I didn't really get my feet wet in the entire idea of what everybody here does, which is making independent film. And so I shot my first and directed and produced and figured out all the stuff that we were talking about a second ago to do with gaffers and other roles. And so I shot a 5-minute short film that I directed and wrote. And that was a crazy adventure. And I encourage everyone, whether it has an effect or has a crazy theme, to make your film and just set a date and go do it, write it, 4 minutes, you know. And that was my first experience. It's out there on YouTube. It's called 4G Love, about the iPhone, FaceTime.
Bruce?
Yeah, well, I started off as an animator. When the other kids were playing on the beach, I was up in my attic, like flicking drawings back and forth. I was a huge fan of Walt Disney. And my small animation films got me a job in a company, which led to me being hired on to 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I worked for Stanley Kubrick for 2.5 years, having him critique my work for every day. And that was actually my film school because I didn't have any formal training, so that was an amazing thing, and I got my first screen credit at the end of it. Then I worked for Doug Trumbull, that you mentioned, and he brought me over to the States after that movie, and I kind of picked up a camera, and I knew how to operate an exposure meter, and I suddenly called myself a DP. And I had a knack for shooting in natural light situations, and everybody would look at my work and say, wow, that's really amazing, that's really different looking. And then somebody told me, well, you have to use lights when you're making a movie. So I started lighting my stuff, and stuff looked really bad for a long time. But then I found out that natural light sources are what, and so I tried making lights into natural light sources. So my DP career turned into a commercial directing career. So I've directed probably like 300 television commercials. I directed a feature for Roger Corman called Vendetta back in the day, and actually Roger Corman, I should say, I shot a lot of movies for him as a DP, and that was like the genesis of my career. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of different things, but this summer I decided to make my own small movie for about $100,000, and I'm very excited about it. That's me up to date.
I'm just scrolling through your IMDb. 2001: A Space Odyssey, Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, and of course, my favorite, Airplane. Fireflies.
Directors told me we want the effects to look really bad.
It was awesome. Airplane is the best. All right, we're going to move on to Mark.
So what are you going to go through his credit list before I talk?
Yeah. I'm not trying to make you feel bad or anything.
That's just rough. I started in actually made my first 8mm films in the 70s.
See, 8mm.
It was a full-size dragon puppet. That was fun. That's a good video to watch.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't still have it, but I have the video.
You do have
I
the
do
video.
have the but in '89, I was teaching martial arts. I had a martial arts school, was traveling the country doing things. I was on magazine covers, doing all that stuff, and kind of living in that world. And then I decided I want to get into film, and I had a bunch of actor friends who said, you can't just get into film. And 3 months later, I had my SAG card. And I was in, and I started with David Carradine and his stunt team, which many of you probably don't know who David Carradine is, but he was a good guy.
Kwai Chang Caine.
Yeah, Kwai Chang Caine, yeah. And so did that, and then quickly evolved into doing pyrotechnics and prosthetic makeup and miniatures and so on and so forth, so I started blowing everything up. And then '94, I wrote my first screenplay and sold it within 2 months of writing it for $25,000. I thought that was kind of a good.
Nice.
And I took all my friends, like 9 of them, to Disneyland and spent it all. That was good. Spent it all.
$25,000. That's like one day at Disneyland.
Getting home was actually a task because we had no money left. But then in the late '90s, I was working on all the Three Ninjas movies, those kids movies, doing all the action, Power Rangers, all that stuff. And then I was due to move to LA, had a great job set up. But then my little boy was born with brain injuries. And so at 4 months old, he had to have surgery, and so I was meant to stay here. It was like I could not leave. And so I went, oh, I'm done. You know, I mean, my career is it was at that place where I had to move to LA or I wasn't going to be able to do it. And so I kind of was okay with that. It was like, okay, this is what's necessary. But then in '99, I got a chance to direct my first $1 million feature. And so I did that, and ever since then, I now did a few for Lionsgate and so on and so forth. And the ones that I'm doing now, I'm doing one now that's called Bokendan, Quest for the Phoenix Sword, which is kind of like Goonies meets Jumanji. Yeah, 5 misfit kids that get to travel to a game world, and it's going to be like a steampunk Japan. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm figuring it out.
That sounds interesting, though. That's 2 great aesthetics. Smashing those up can't go wrong.
Just got to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have some of the masks for it at my booth upstairs. I'm by the X-Wing, so stop by and look at them.
Sure, okay, and just Just show you what a martial arts geek you are. Just show everyone the back of your phone case.
I have a Revenge of the Ninja.
Yeah, baby. Was that Shogi Shogi?
Yeah,
Yeah, baby.
I was actually there.
Great
That was-
80s ninja.
That was in Salt Lake City. Yeah, I got to go there. That was fun.
All right, that's a deep
A
cut.
ninja movie.
That's a deep cut. All right, and now Stuart. So you thought you felt bad, Mark?
Oh man.
For Samuel, I'm sorry.
So I'm obviously the youngest on the panel. I haven't done either.
Sam's 23.
Yeah,
See?
just had a birthday. But I mean, I've just been growing up in a big world of film where there's so much opportunity out there. So 10 years ago, I made my first film in America, visiting some family friends on a flip phone at 360p, I think. I thought it was great. I put some CG glasses on. It was a take on Mr. Smith, and then I made it as 10 minutes. I cancelled pretty much the holiday plans just to stay in this one. Family friend was saying we'll just film it with my cousin. As soon as I got home, school began, and I just kept thinking about filmmaking. I was in English class, I was doing Prime and Prejudice. I was writing a script. I got told off. I kept doing it anyway. I just knew. I never knew what I wanted to do. I found that, and I pushed and pushed. And I managed to make a 13-episode web series, a pilot, half feature, all that web series. And I did some audiobooks, all the things. And I didn't meet you yet. I crowdfunded a Trek fan film, I did a Stargate fan film. I'm the director of the #1 Stargate fan film in the world, so if you like Stargate, check out Stargate Investors and Hope. Trek fan film, which you've seen a few days ago, which is okay, please. And then I met this guy, now I'm doing a Stargate web series which has 1.7 million views and 10,000 subscribers, and great guys like Alec on. And so it's a dream to make, not only be filmmakers, do filmmaking, but also in a world that you love, and be able to add to it, add to Trek, add to law, and I mean the convention paid for to come here, so that's incredible.
I gotta say, less than 2 years after we started, we've been invited to Denver Comic Con as guests, so I mean we're doing something right. So.
And that is the #1 lesson. So Samuel is the poster child for the #1 lesson for all you young people out there. Is you absolutely must do what you love doing. That is the most important lesson in life. I mean, all right, look, I'm only 55, all right? But I learned that lesson early in my life, and it has kept me in good stead. It has kept me poor, but it has kept me happy. And I've got a lot of friends who got a lot of money who all envy me in my life because I do what I love doing. So please, no matter what it is, if you really have a passion for filmmaking, make films. That's so important. Stuart, do you want to add anything?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of the most pitiful story here. I just started making YouTube videos on model building and did some movie reviews and stuff on YouTube, and that's kind of how I met him, and we got this partnership going. So I don't really make films per se. I love making videos and.
Well, you are the script writer of the two, and you have got such a great talent for making. Like we are asked all the time, 150 episodes, so many things. Is it scripted? And that's a great question. But the best editing is, if you don't notice the editing, that's the best kind of editing. If you don't notice the scripting, that's the best kind of scripting. So you do a great job making it feel natural. And some of the jokes are scripted, some are not. Some are on the top about. Some are scripted.
The bad jokes are scripted.
Bad jokes are scripted.
Let's start with the most important question. What is the single most important lesson that you can impart to these young budding filmmakers from your career? And I'm just going to go left to right here. Lee, come on, Lee. You start. No lessons? Okay. Well, Bruce, the grand.
Okay. I would say that you should do immediately, following on from what you said, you should follow your heart and go to where your passion lies. I met a lot of people in the film business that said, "Oh, well, I'm going to be an assistant director, and then I'm going to be second assistant director, and then or PA, and work your way up." You've really got to do, what is it you really want to do in the film business, and you've got to go straight there. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200, and you've just got to make it happen. You've got to find a really great story and tell that story. And, if you want to be a director, just make it happen for yourself. Don't go on any side streets saying, "Oh, well, I got to get this done." Although I have to say the other side of that coin is that you have to know as a director, you have to know everything about what's going on that set. So you got to educate yourself and then go straight to where you want to go.
And you have such an advantage. You have the internet. When, certainly us, I mean Sam's young, so he had the internet. But when Bruce was coming up, when Lee was coming up, when Mark was coming up, there was no internet. Okay? You guys can go and learn. I have so little tolerance for people who are like, well, how do I do that? Use the internet. Look at, there is such an amazing wealth of knowledge online. So if you want to be a DP, there's this thing called Google, and it basically is the roadmap to the entire wealth of human knowledge. And you have to do your research. So right? How are you doing research?
How was I doing it back then?
Back then in the 60s and 70s.
Wow, I was just making it up as I go along. But I sure am using the internet now because I'm on the tech committee at the ASC, which means that like all the new technology comes past me, and even though I grew up on film, I'm embracing that stuff so much. And if I shoot a movie, I become the colorist on that movie, which means that I have the last say by adjusting all the colors and giving the movie some attitude. So and if I don't know how to do something, I just type into Google.
There you go.
And that's like how to be a DP. Type that in.
And also, wherever you are, we're fortunate. You're in LA, right?
Yeah.
We're in LA, and we're fortunate to have so many people there. And I know everyone I've met in the industry, everyone I've worked with, and I've been fortunate to work with a couple good people, is so giving and so willing to talk to you and so willing to help young people. I'm always amazed by this industry about how one person will help the next. So seek that person out wherever it is you may live, or correspond with them online. Because I know my DP, Milton Santiago, who's amazing. He is always talking to, he'll come into the studio and go, yesterday I was hanging out with so-and-so, who's the DP of, whatever. And I'm like, really? And he's always talking to the top people. So always reach up. Oh, don't be afraid. I'm sorry, most of the people in the industry are really cool. And speaking of really cool, I'm going to introduce a man named Trekyards, who you may know as Ichib on Star Trek Voyager, but is also a filmmaker and has a new project. And so you want to...
I'll say a little something. Yeah, just to continue with the don't be afraid thing, that's huge. Because even the top of the top filmmakers, the A-list producers and actors and directors, are normally really humble, really spiritually centered, awesome people. I worked with Clint Eastwood for one day on a movie called J. Edgar, just as an actor playing Alvin Karpus. And I worked with Leo DiCaprio and was directed by Clint Eastwood for one day. So it was just a short little scene where I got busted and they dragged me away, and I was excited to work with these guys. But the beginning of it is I was a little bit nervous, do I call him Mr. Eastwood, do I call him... This was the first time in a long time I'd been nervous. And when I got to set, he sauntered over to me from across the lane at Warner Brothers, just dead-eyeing me like Steven, like Clint Eastwood would. And I'm wondering if he's looking at me, And he gets up to me and he goes, well, if it isn't Manu, blah, blah, blah. and then he elbowed me and he winked. And from that moment on, he was Uncle Clint. And then I saw him 6 months later in Whole Foods. And I said, hey Clint, I'm Manu. I worked on your film. I played Alvin for a day on J. Edgar. He goes, yeah, I know you, man. And I go, when are you going to make another Western? And he goes, I really want to make another Western, but I just haven't found a script. Why? You got a script for me? Right? So I called every single writer I knew in Hollywood, and I read through like 60, more than 60. I read a bunch of Western screenplays for about 6 months. And then the next time, he actually said, wow, you got a script for me? If you got one and you're around, you know where I am. Come to my office. And he's got a lot. His offices are at El Paso Films on the lot at Warner Brothers. I found the 2 best scripts I could possibly find. I went and knocked on the door at Malpaso, said, hey, I was talking to Clint at Whole Foods 6 months ago. He said I should stop by if I ever found something good. He let me in, he let me pitch him, he let me give him the screenplays. Nothing ever came of it, but that's how cool people are if you're just real with them.
Wow.
Once again.
Mark, once again, you got that
I want to start.
You want to switch chairs? It's like a sea change at a poker table?
That's true, yeah. But you know, it's funny, the whole message is the same, and I have a thing that I've written on my office wall for years, and the best way to predict your future is to create it yourself. And that statement keeps me going every day, because you sit there and go like, oh, you're waiting for somebody else to make it happen. I hate it when somebody goes, oh yeah, there's no work out there, everything sucks. I'm like, your brain is filled with cool stuff. Make it. It's like that simple. You just make it, because if you're waiting for somebody else to do it for you, I don't think it's going to happen. And the other thing is that hopefully many of you are local, and they're talking about finding people to help you. I help everybody. If anybody calls me, they're like, I need something. I have a t-shirt that says the guy who can't say no. Because I love that creative spirit. And when somebody comes and they have a great idea and they've done the work to back it up, I'm there. So if you need to do anything, you find friends that'll help you do it. Yeah?
Yeah, for me, I mean, as a 15-year-old starting to make films, not many 15-year-olds would go and have to make a 13-episode web series at 10 minutes each with VFX and a cast, I think, 16, using a headmaster and all sorts. And that's a lot to do for 15-year-olds. And to be the cameraman and director and the editor and get them all made within, I think, like 6 months. I mean, it's a lot to do. And it's just drive, it's passion, and you have to do something because you really want to do it and you actually follow through. We all have great ideas, and I'm not necessarily the best ones actually get made, but some get made. And if you actually have a really amazing idea, you've got to push, you've got to actually make the effort. Because there's always, I always say, I always make time for somebody, like you said, help them. Always make time for somebody if they need it, because you never know, and it's worth helping, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that will actually say, oh, I saw what you made, it's junk. And then you have to look at it and go, what have you made? Nothing. And those are the people, they'll judge you, but they don't have the ability to do it themselves, which is probably why they're judged.
Well, that is such a great point. Self-doubt, is really, that's the thing that's going to destroy you. Trust yourself, do it. And I'm telling you, as an entrepreneur before a filmmaker, no one ever believes in you. Your parents don't believe. Your mom's always like, oh, honey, whatever you want. You're going to change the world.